Hey, this is Chantal Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to be talking about something which you might not think is actually online marketing related, but it actually is, because when we go and we get clients online, what happens is we're constantly searching for new ones, but what we're not doing is looking after the ones that have previously bought from us and looking at how we can upsell them, how we can downsell them, how we can onsell them, how we can re-engage them, so that they actually buy from us again. So they either buy more products or refer people to us, so that we can basically increase the customer lifetime value. So we call it the LTV, the lifetime value, and basically reduce the churn, because most businesses, like when I'm talking to them, especially in the last couple of weeks, have been saying to me, Chantal, oh my gosh, I'm getting exhausted from constantly having to find new clients. And I'm like, well, what about the ones that have already bought from you? Why do we always forget about them? Why aren't we keeping those people happy and get them buying from us again? So today I'm going to talk about how we actually do that with automations, because obviously we want to try and automate as much of this as possible, and we also want to be able to track it. We don't want to miss it, because once you start getting a huge leads list of people coming in, it gets a bit difficult to track, where everybody's going and what they're doing and what they're into. So we're going to talk about today how to actually do that. Okay, is a little bit technical. The good news is that the live audience today, who are our clients, you guys are going to get the blog, you're going to get the masterclass recording, you're going to get an SOP with it as well. So you can obviously go back and have a look at it and map everything out, so it makes a bit more sense. So don't worry if you get a little bit lost in some of the big language, the big techie language I use today, which is not going to be that big. All right, cool. So why is lifetime value so important? Well, it costs 5 to 7 times more to acquire a new customer. So it costs 5 to 7 times more to get a new client. But what I like to say, it says it costs. For me, it's more stressful. It's more time, it's more effort, it's more energy. And that is really what is so annoying more than anything else for me personally, because it stresses the heck out of me. It's a lot harder to be talking to new strangers all the time than people you've already had a relationship with that you can continue the conversation with, right? So we want to increase the lifetime value and we want to reduce the churn. So the churn is like, we get a client, we flick them off. We get a client, we flick them off. We get a client, we flick them off, and we're constantly looking for new ones. And when we power it with automation, and retention tactics in the background, you can scale. It becomes a lot easier to be able to, have those leads on repeat. So let's talk about upsells to start with, because upsells are the fastest way to boost lifetime value. I don't know about like you guys, but I don't like it when I'm doing a sales call with somebody, or I've had a sales call. So I'm the person who's inquiring about a service, and I'm on there and I'm buying something and they're actually upselling me on the call, right? Like I'm trying to buy something and I'm interested in this and they're upselling me already. Like I don't know if that's an American thing, but it really grates me, right? It absolutely grates me. So even when I put this into ChatGPT and I was working through my notes today, they're making all this recommendation that on the sales call we should be upselling and upselling and upselling. And I was like, I think there's a time and place, and I think it needs to be logical. I think we need to deliver clients what they need. And then when they buy, we need to give them a good experience. And then that's the time for me when I'd want to upsell them. That just feels a little bit more authentic for me. So you want to sell a higher value option than the one customer originally chose, right? So a service example, and in this example, this may work, but a physio might say to you, hey, listen, we've got these one-on-one sessions. You can buy a one-on-one session, or alternatively, your back's going to take a while to get better. You're going to need at least 6 sessions. If you buy 6 sessions, it's a lot cheaper. Okay. And now we've upsold them. Now that's logical because that's actually going to work and it's going to be in the best interest of the customer. So for me, that's a logical upsell, and I don't mind that at all. Now for an e-commerce business, which is Mary from Flat Out Multi-Reel, when we're looking at an e-commerce business, the upsells can happen basically when they purchase something, when they're purchasing the product. So for example, if they are buying a Flat Out Multi-Reel, which is basically you put your extension cords or your hoses into this windy reel. So I've got one for my camper van where I put my electrical cord in it for my camper van. That's what they sell. So at that time, they can say, hey, do you want one for your hose? Do you want one for your electrical? They can actually upsell them into another product that's also suitable as well. It's really, really important. The only way that you can really track this automatically is that you've got to make sure that your tags are accurate. So every time somebody does something, they get a tag. Now, the way that I like to describe tags is scars. Every time they do something, they get a scar. So if they buy, for example, the electrical, say they buy the electrical extension cable reel, they need to get that tag, because you don't want to keep trying to sell to them that again unless they're actually going to need more. But for me, for example, I only need one electrical cable in my camper van. So if you keep trying to market to me and try to sell me electrical cables, I don't need one, right? So it needs to be logical to the business owner as well. I've got a camper van, which means I don't need a hose. So therefore, you wouldn't try and upsell me into a hose. So the only way that we can really track what people are doing is to make sure that our tags are right. And I really recommend that you have a tag list. So you've got like a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet or Excel spreadsheet, and in there you've got a list of all your tags. You don't want a gazillion tags, but you do need to have tags that are relevant to that particular offer, so we know what that person's done previously, so we know how to further communicate to them in marketing through upsells. And then, of course, you can upsell them. So, for example, you could choose to do it in an onboarding email. So, say, for example, with the physiotherapist, if the person decided to go ahead and only buy one session, you could send them an onboarding email saying, can't wait to see you in your session. Just a reminder, if you decide to go ahead and buy the pack of 6, you can do it here and it's a bit cheaper, right? And you could explain why, one of the benefits of doing multiple sessions in order to fix your back, for example. So really, really important that you get your tags right, and really important that it's logical to the customer and the customer's buying journey. All right. Now, the e-commerce example that we've got over here is that a shopper might be online buying a blender. The blender might be $70. And the next minute, you could have like a pop-up or an automation or something that comes up and says, have you seen this blender? For $30 more, you can get this blender, and this blender actually comes with all these extra features. Okay. So let's talk about downsells. All right. So downsells is about reducing the churn without losing customers. So for service-based businesses, it's a bit different, right? Because if you were having a chat with somebody, you would be able to determine what the service was that they needed and then be able to prescribe to them that. Then based on time or money, because it always comes down to time or money, they might decide to not go with that option. They might decide to go with a lower priced option. So then you would downsell them into a lower priced option, and it could be for any reasons. Perhaps they don't want to work with you for so long. Perhaps they only want to work for a shorter period of time. Perhaps it's a money thing, so they've only got a budget for a smaller thing. So downsells are all about offering a smaller, lower priced option when they decline the main offer. Now, I always like to, and we're talking about service-based now, but I always like to at least have 3 goes at using convinces, using credibility, and using the cost of inaction, or my C words, in order to be able to make sure that the person's definitely, if it is the right offer for them, that they definitely are going to say no to that particular offer. Okay? Because most people say no a couple times first before they say yes. So an example for as service-based businesses, a gym will offer a 6-week trial. And when somebody hesitates and says, oh, I don't, oh, sorry. When somebody, when somebody goes to buy a gym contract and they say, I'm going to lock you in for 12 months, all the gyms, they go, we're going to lock you in for 12 months. The gym can turn around and say, look, we'll offer it to you for 6 weeks. Okay, so that's a downsell. So they'll give them a 6-week, hoping that they're going to enjoy the 6 weeks. And if they've used their tags and they're using their CRM, then they would be able to go, okay, they've bought the 6 weeks. You want to make sure on at least week 4 that you've contacted them and seeing whether or not they want to upgrade and do the 12 months if they've had a good experience. All right. So following up would be really important. So the automation steps to consider when it comes to your downsells would be, for e-commerce businesses, is a cart abandon workflow. So if somebody's added something to a cart, but they haven't gone ahead with the purchase, you could send them the link to say, this is still sitting in your cart. Or alternatively, if you've tried that, as I said, I would try that once or twice to say your cart's expiring. But then what I would do is I would say to them, hey, look, you weren't interested in this for whatever reason, but we've got this product that we thought you might be interested in, and you could send them that email. Right? So those are downsells. You can also use chatbot prompts. You can use your tags, your CRM tags, which will be help with your triggers. So to say that this person's been looking at these things. And you can set up automated downsell emails. So if you know, for example, someone hasn't gone ahead, for example, with a one-on-one program, you can start sending them emails about joining your group program and then send them emails about joining your course. All right. And of course, you can also set up internal tasks for follow-up. So, for example, as I mentioned earlier with the gym, the person gets to about 4 weeks. We can set up an internal notification to say to the gym member, hey, can you go check on Mary in the gym? Make sure she's having a good experience and see if she wants to actually sign up to the 12-month. All right. So that's the downsell back into the upsell or the original sell. All right, so what are on-sells? On-sells are growing lifetime value with complementary offers, right? So it's an offering related products or services that add value to the original purchase, okay, that add value to the original purchase. So, for example, if you think about Thermomix, right? Thermomix is Thermomix, but then on top of it, you've got this different bowl that goes with it. You've got a different blade that goes with it. You've got a different sieve that goes with it. You've got all these different accessories and stuff that goes with it, right? So these are on sells and additional things that you can actually purchase. So for a service example, I'm going to use one that most of the ladies will know about, and that's a hairdressing one. The latest thing is whenever you go to the hairdressing salon, they're always pimping you a product. Always. Oh, your hair's really dry. Why don't you try this new coconut oil spray or whatever? Like, and they put it down in front of you. Like it's become like an ongoing thing at a hairdressing salon. So that's an on sell. And then an e-commerce example is, for example, if you were to go buy, and I've done this when I bought my GoPro, you buy the GoPro and it's like, oh, I've got to have this one and I've got to have, the tripod and extra lens and a memory card and all these are different things for the GoPro, right? So again, we've got to make sure that our CRM is tagging them with all the things that they've bought previously so we know how to further communicate to them in their marketing. We can also set up things like thank you pop-ups or email sequences. We can also add checkout add-ons. And I'm quite a fan of this. And Tom, this is something actually you could do. Like on the website, they add a class, so they add to come to your group event class that you do. And then as you get to the checkout, it says frequently bought together. Would you like a yoga mat with that? Would you like a one-on-one before or after that? So they've added it to the checkout, and there's just these little frequently bought together items down at the bottom to say you may also be interested in this. And they just tick the box and it adds it to the cart automatically. So again, the CRM segmentation is really important. So for example, with Tom's with his business specifically as an example, at the end of the day, it's like you want to make sure that you know who are the people that have bought one-on-ones in the past because you're going to target those people again because you know that they have a tendency to have the one-on-one sessions with the group sessions. So you want to retarget to them, right? Okay, so let's talk about referrals, and that is turning happy customers into lifetime advocates. So you could encourage existing customers to refer. So for your service example, a dentist could offer a $50 off for a referral. An e-commerce example could be a skincare store could run a give $10 and get $10 referral program. So if you refer us and that person purchases, they get $10 off and you get $10 off. Okay, so that's a great referral program that you can have. Very, very important that you're tagging and you're keeping score of the milestones and the milestone triggers, and that you're also taking note of the referral tags in the CRM and the rewards as well, because the last thing you want is for somebody not to get their $10 voucher or not to get the amount that you promised them off. And you would possibly have like a referral dashboard, and you'd obviously have a team member who'd be monitoring all of that, making sure it's working. Reducing churn by winning back customers. So I've got a particular lady who's been to me 3 times. So she has bought my program 3 times in different stages. The first stage was when she was a startup. She bought my program so that we could set up a marketing strategy for her. The second time was to bring in, they started expanding into Anaconda, and she also bought an in-house person into the business, and she wanted to train them up. So she said, we need B2B strategies and we need to train the in-house person. And then this year she contacted me again and said, right, we're now ready to get an offshore virtual assistant. Can you now help me with that? So that's 3 times now this person has bought from me. So it's bringing back inactive or lapsed customers. So a service example is a yoga studio emails old members, we miss you, here's a free class pass. And many times you'll see this with yoga studios, they give you a free session on your birthday. Boost Juice and that might give you a free smoothie on your birthday, and that's to get you back using their product. An e-commerce example would be a fashion store re-engages inactive buyers with VIP discounts. So a lot of the people in the fashion industry that I've worked with now have VIP Facebook groups where they offer them special coupon codes and sort of loyalty prizes and gifts and first time access to certain products, all inside a VIP group or through email. So automation steps. So you've got to make sure that you're looking even at inactivity in your CRM. So we're not just looking at activity in your CRM, we're also looking at inactivity in your CRM. Because if there's inactivity, we want to re-engage those people, right? You then want to look at win-back campaigns through email and SMS marketing. And you also may wish to set up internal alerts for high-value clients. So, you can auto create personal looking follow-ups. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. How's everything going? Or we call it a 9-word email. You can come up with a 9-word re-engagement email. All right, so let's just look at an example. So I used a gym because I used to own gyms for 25 years. But a local gym automated upsells, referrals, and re-engagement using their CRM. So 27% of new members upgraded to the high value programs. And we used to do this all the time. So we'd say, oh yeah, join the gym. Oh, but you're going to need an eating plan with that. So we'd upsell them into an eating plan, a personal one-on-one eating plan with that. Then we would have a referral program which generated 65 new signups in 3 months. We used to give away food for a week. So you know how you get ready-made food meals for a week, like those packs, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you can buy that. So we just work with a food, like what are they called? Like it's not fast food, it's clean eating meals for bodybuilders and for athletes and that. And we ran a competition, and a referral competition, and every time you referred people, your name went into the hat, and one lucky person won food for a week. I promise you, everybody referred because they all liked the ideas of not cooking from Monday to Sunday and having 3 calorie counted meals done for them. And then re-engagement campaigns brought back 19% of inactive members. So this was a huge one that I used to teach in the gym industry, especially because as summer was approaching, people would go looking for new clients. But even those people that dropped off during winter, you want to get them back in spring so that they're ready, that they're ready back in your gym and they haven't gone elsewhere in summer when they start looking. So all of that can be automated, but your CRM is super important. Tagging is super important. You've got to make sure that you got your finger on the pulse. It's logical for the customer and their buying journey. Whatever you're offering them is logical in the upsell, downsell, onsell, right? So that is how you can actually increase the lifetime value of those clients and reduce the churn. Okay, reduce the churn. So with upsells, downsells, onsells, referrals, and re-engagement and CR-driven automations, you can grow your revenue and loyalty without more ad spend. I think this is really important. You're not paying for ads. Everything I've just said is free. People seem to think that when we talk about re-engagement or retargeting inside an email list, people seem to think I'm talking about paid ads. I'm not. It is absolutely free to go in and have a look at your email list and go look at the low-hanging fruit and send those targeted emails out if you're keeping your CRM up to date. And obviously, you've got to continue to grow that list all the time. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, make sure that you click subscribe and turn the notification bell on. If you'd like to find out about our services or access our free resources, please check out the comments below. We're now going to go to the live audience where they're going to share how they're going to actually utilize these strategies in their business and also answer any of their questions.